You shut your goddamn whore mouth.
Everybody hates you, and I'm glad your husband died. He probably killed himself.
When I vomited in the bed, I just laid in it. I'm not even fucking with you.
I am Calypso, and I thank you for playing Twisted Metal.
No offense, David Jaffe, but that's bullshit.
That's not what a cat penis looks like. Wow. What's up, good sir, folks, and madams, and whatnot? How you doing? Welcome to Good Morning Gamers. I understand it's 2 o'clock in the afternoon. It's almost 3 o'clock in the afternoon here in California, but the way we do it here is in California, we do whatever the fuck we want to do. So, welcome to the show. Let me put my beautiful face up there so you guys can all enjoy it. Can you imagine? My ex-wife worked for this guy once. She was, hang on. Contractually obligated to show that. I love that. Listen, she was working in PR back right out of college, trying to figure out if that's what she wanted to do. And she worked for this total egomaniac who repped this dance instructor. And this is just not a relevant story, but... And so he gets a bunch of headshots in, and these are new headshots. And so he's got a whole stack, because nobody ever wanted the old headshots. And he literally offers she was my wife at the time. He's like, hey, do you want to take these home? You could just have them all. You could like put them up on your wall or something. This is how arrogant and full of themselves some humans are. Can you imagine? Addie Pie, first off, let me welcome you to the show. Then we'll get your crazy comments. The red phone's going on in just a second. If you want to put yourself in Discord, you can call. We can talk as pals do. Look, Darth Nugget, I'm not arranging the P Turtle Mutant Mo battle. If they want to call in at the same time, they're more than welcome. As long as it doesn't bore the audience, I'll have them on the air. But you know who I'm supposed to have on today, and I totally fucked up. Our very own Blake. I don't know if I'm supposed to get his last name. Do you know his last name? Blake. You know Blake from the Discord. He's. I want to talk to him about his new business, which is about seeding. I use that verb. He doesn't use that verb, but it's funny. Seeding masculinity out into the world. And I ended up fucking up my times, and I just totally spaced on it. So hopefully I can get him on the show today. If not, we'll get him on Friday. But anyway, this is kind of, most of what we're talking about today is video games, pop culture, geek stuff. The proper Gabbing Games, of course, is back tomorrow at 5 o'clock as per always, or at least per hopefully always. But this show is just kind of free chat, but I have topics. Don't worry. I also want to let you know, I got a little tip. I got a little tip from, it might have been Darth Nugget or Ravnos or Mr. K over on the Discord, and they says, Jaffe, you should turn on text-to-speech, okay? So I have it set up. If you want to do it, you don't have to do it in order to do super chats and stuff, but if you go, I'll put it in the chat right now, but also if you go down below on about this video, you'll see the way you can do it. And you can get all kinds of crazy voices and sounds and whatever. And it may be really annoying or it may be a lot of fun. So it's set up. You guys let me know if it's something you're interested in. But it and I can also pause it. So it may be like if it's getting in the way, we'll just pause it and play them all at the same time, but whatever. Okay. So that's going on. I want to let you know that. In fact, I think I can show it to you. Yeah, here you go. It's, I won't belabor the point. I just want to, make sure you see it. Yeah, so you go there, and if you want to do a tip, it's $4. If you've been a member for 6 months, you can get I don't fucking know. It's like, your membership thing, not when you sign up, but when it's like I've been here. If you're a brand new member, or if you want to do a tip with Brian's the boring voice. Brian's the boring voice, but it's the inexpensive one, but you can get like some of these pretty good. Here's C3PO. Listen to this one.
Trash covered the landscape like sprinkles do a birthday cake.
That's not bad. Some of them are shit. Eminem's okay. Kanye's pretty good. Listen to Kanye. Listen to this one.
Guys, can you please not spam the chat? My mom borrowed me this new laptop, and it gets really hard when the chat is being spammed.
Anyway, so there's that. Do it if you want. I also want to let you know this Saturday for members, Saturday at 5 o'clock, maybe 4. I'll let you know. 4 to 5, we're kicking off another Pot and Popcorn. We are going to be watching the Peter Jackson Gorefest Brain Dead, and then I'm going to be turning to Cult of Calypso members and God of War members. Hit me up on the Discord and let me know what movie you want to make as the double feature. And we'll vote on it, and we'll let you know if you get the movie. But it should be fun. Don't give me something like Oppenheimer. It's got to be. I'm going to be high. We're going to be talking over the movie. So if it's a movie you really want to watch, like as a cinema aficionado, this is not the time to recommend that movie. This is more about just shooting the shit, hanging out, getting drunk, getting stoned, and making fun of the motion picture shows. So keep that in mind as you offer up your choices. Yes. Let's talk about Wolverine, man. I am gonna tell you something. Let me. I'll turn on the red phone in just a second. I'm sure you'll have something to say about this. Like I said, I'm in the Discord as well if you want to talk. So there was all the Wolverine stuff I imagine has leaked on the dark web. I don't know if it's all out and it's just slowly percolating or bubbling up to the surface. But today on NeoGAF, and I'm not going to show it to you because I'm not going to get this fucking thing strike down like the last time. But today on NeoGAF, there was another leak that they were posting, which I had not seen before. And I'm sure you've seen this. And it's still up. Sony, I think, has come to the conclusion that, we're not paying these people. And if we just demand it taken down, it'll just go up somewhere else. It's kind of I'm assuming that's why. And so they leaked a bunch of concept art. Looks pretty good. Like the Wolverine costume looks really good. There are some really interesting interpretations of like Lady Deathstrike, and I think it's Omega Red. Is that the guy with the kind of the whip arms and the mechanical shit? So it looks great. I mean, it's Insomniac. What do you want? But I got to tell you something, man. I am. You guys know it. You guys know how progressive I am. I think it's wonderful when we get diversity in games. I think it's wonderful when we as an industry, or them as an industry now. I always hated when people who reported on the industry called it like they were in the industry. You know what I'm saying? The point is, I guess I'm tangentially in the industry, but the point is, and I'm still doing work, so it doesn't matter. Let's stay on topic, Jaffe. Oh, I didn't take my ADD meds. No wonder. Here. I'm telling you, there's a little white pill, baby. Come on now. Let's chase that rabbit. You guys tell me when you think you see it kicking in. Anyway, listen. So I love all that stuff. I think it's important. I think it's important to what we put in our pop culture, which is really the driving tool for communication in a lot of ways these days, affects the world. It marbles it into the society, and we have to be careful and we have to be responsible. And just because you put a woman in a game or a movie, she's not there just to be a piece of meat so a bunch of guys can sort of, drool over. I get it. I like it. It's important. It's fair. But there's a point, and I think Insomniac has tripped over the point, where it's like, okay, guys, enough, right? I don't know if you've seen it. They leaked, and again, this isn't done. These are leaks, okay? But they leaked concept art of Jean Grey, or I guess, what did Jean Grey...
Life is like a series of kicks to the testicles.
I'll get to that in a minute. They leaked. I'll get to that super chat in a second. See, I got to. That's the weird thing on this text to speech. I want to make sure they play at the right time. So, but I'll make sure they play and I'll make sure I get to them. But anyway, so you got Jean Grey, who is Phoenix, and what did they call her when the X-Men first started? Like, it wasn't Miss Marvel, but it was like Marvel Girl or something, right? And I don't need her to be a fucking sex pot. I don't need her to be big tits and overt and wearing barely any outfit or anything like that. But you know what? Let her be a fucking attractive woman. She's a goddamn superhero. She's a goddamn character in the Marvel Universe. I could kind of deal with, Mary Jane. Not that I thought Mary Jane wasn't attractive. People were laying into her like, she's cute. She's a good-looking normal woman. Even though in the comics she's a supermodel. I get it. That's, we're kind of changing it. Fine. But this is fucking one of the key characters of Marvel. I don't want her looking like a fucking she looks, there's one, I don't know if you guys watched it whenever WWE would go over to Saudi Arabia, where women can barely show any skin. And so they're wrestling in these like fishnet, leather, nothing about their femininity is on display. It's all just like, they're almost, might as well be like bricks. Because there's no shape to it. Well, there's one shot of Jean Grey where she's kind of flying and powering up. And she looks like a fuck. It is true anymore. I just saw the most recent one in Saudi Arabia. $6 says that's not true anymore. Literally 3 months ago, they were in Saudi Arabia and they were wearing those costumes. But there's a shot, I wish I could show it to you. Let me look at it so I can at least try to describe it to you. Where she's kind of hovering a little bit off the ground, and she just looks like a roided up, how like when women do a lot of bodybuilding and stuff, and they tend to lose they gain the shape of a bodybuilder, but they lose their more feminine shape and their curves and stuff. It's pretty much like, we don't want you guys sexualizing any of the women in our games. We don't want you to think they're pretty or attractive. And it's like, you know what, guys? I get it. I do. But there's a balance. These are superheroes. These are, our modern day Greek gods. These are aspirational figures. Could you just stop? And even Mystique, right? Mystique, who was played by Rebecca Romaine James, what's her name? Stamos. In the movies, the blue skin lady, and then Jennifer Lawrence played her. She was like naked except body paint, and then she kind of, plugged in and transferred. I'm looking at her right now. I'm not going to show it to you, but if you want to, open a tab over to the NeoGAF, it is just vulgar how obsessed these people are. And I don't mean Insomniac specifically, but maybe I do. Fuck it. Maybe I do. I don't know. I don't know who's driving the boat. And I'm a huge fan of Brian Horton. I'm a huge fan of his games. I think he's a great video game director. But this is ridiculous. I mean, like I said, what did I say? I started off this conversation going, I'm in on the progressive stuff. I'm in on it. It's right. It's good. It's just. It's time. But Jesus Christ, there's a balance between making women, sex objects and stripping away everything that makes them women. This woman is wearing, she's totally covered up. She's totally fucking covered up. I don't understand what's wrong with these people. It's just, I have a real issue with it. It bothers me. You know why? Because it feels like it is going against, it doesn't feel genuine. It doesn't feel like it's respectful to the brand. It really, and that bothers me. And there was something earlier they were also toying with, and this doesn't bother me as much because I don't, you know, I'm all for like swapping races of characters to some extent. But it, you know, in the documentation they say, hey, let's experiment with making Jean Grey a person of color. And it's like, well, okay, I'm cool with that. I don't care. But, you know, the X-Men have lots of black people and, is it, I don't want to say Latinx, whatever the term is. They have a lot of Latina people. They're, you know, they have Canadians. I mean, oh, that's weird. They're all over the goddamn, spectrum. It's not like there's a lack of black characters and a lack of diversity. Why would you want to make Jean Grey, like, to what end? Just because? I just, yeah, not only RPG are the X-Men as diverse as you can get, the whole point of the X-Men is diversity and acceptance of diversity. I'm in. But look, you know, when the goddamn Bernie Sanders voting, Joe Biden voting, Trump hating, never vote for a Republican. I'd raise all of our taxes if it meant, you know, veterans from wars would never, ever have to be homeless. When I got a problem with it, you know, they've crossed a line. This is, I mean, again, I wish you could see what I mean, is anybody over on NeoGaf right now? Any of you guys looking at this? I know what you mean, says Zero Signal, but is there anything about the character that's meant to be sexually attractive? If not, then it's irrelevant. I don't agree with that, though. I think you have two lenses through which, let's just take the X-Men, but comic book characters are viewed, right? You have the view of them as characters living in their world. So yes, I would agree with you. If you're going to make a documentary and the X-Men were real, there would be nothing in their lives where Jean Grey, unless she's, you know, sexing up Scott Summers, Cyclops, her husband or whatever, you know, there's nothing in their day-to-day lives where she's out in the world meaning to look super sexy or even feminine, other than her just being a woman, which, you know, should be enough. But then there's the lens through which we view it as the audience. And the audience, I think it was Grant Morrison, I forget the exact quote, but he was basically like, look, superheroes are modern day Greek gods. And they're kind of like aspirational of what we would want to be as humans if we ever got our shit together. Right. And so there is a lens that a lot of people come to superheroes for, where you look at them and go, whoa, they're the best of the best, you know, and I know people are saying, well, that's your bad training because you've been conditioned that best means beautiful. It's like, I don't mean as a human, but as an object to look at in the story. Just like Wolverine is even though he's short, he's kind of the height of alpha male masculinity. That's the shtick. I don't, you know, Lady Deathstrike is an Asian woman. She's in her 50s. I didn't know she was that old. But this character's in her 50s. It's just like they're so terrified of being even a hint titillating. And it's like, what the fuck is wrong with you guys? I hate it. I fucking hate it. This is the one, and I'm not even a big X-Men fan. I like the X-Men, but they're not like Spidey to me or whatever. But this is the one that kind of, I think, has pushed me over the edge with this stuff. I'm just like, guys, I mean, go to NeoGaf, man. Just, God. I want to share it so badly. I'm looking at this concept art of Jean Grey, And it's just, let me turn on the phone if you guys want to call and talk about this. Let me get this super chat that came in. I very much appreciate it, buddy. Let's hear what you have to say. This one's coming in from
I
Johnny.
run my fingers through that legendary beard.
I understand you do. I don't even understand, but it's like anything else. It's kind of like if you are, if you're tall, you don't really care about people who are short, who are like, well, yeah, I'm tall. It's just who I am. I've always been able to grow a luscious beard that gets the ladies. I don't know if that's true. Depends on the lady, but you know what I'm saying. So, but you pay me $50, I'll let you run. No, I won't. Fuck you. I'm not even offering that. Okay, so Ghetto God's looking at the screenshot, but thank you for the super chats, buddy. Ghetto God is looking at the screenshots right now. Right? Am I wrong? Am I over exaggerating this? Ghetto God, when you look at Jean Grey and she's in that flying pose, right? I mean, it's horrible. I'm well, Jezbelly. How are you? You caught yourself there. Either she's a full character or an object. No, that's not correct, Zero Signal. That's what I'm saying. In her story, she is a fully in her life, if she was aware of herself, she's not going around going, I want to push my sexuality out into the world in an overt way, right? There's nothing about her character that would suggest that. I get that. You're absolutely right. But what I'm saying is the objectification part, or the joy of looking at attractive people, that's not her lens. That's the lens that we as a customer, that's one of the things that brings us to the dance, is what I'm saying. Wayne, I don't know. Wayne B says, I've seen them. They just look generic. They don't look like, let me show you what Jean Grey is supposed to look like. I can do that. I'm not going to get a copyright. And even Rogue, Dazzler, maybe, sure, Kitty Pryde has never, ever been that kind of character, but pretty much all the other ones are. And I assume, the men are too, if you're into the men folk. I mean, I'm, certainly not Omega Red, but, okay, hang on. Let me look up Jean Grey. They just don't want to hear an IGN and Kind of Funny complaint. I don't, it's almost like they've just gone so far backwards on this. You can enjoy the sexual, no, I was going to say the opposite sex, but not everybody's into the opposite sex, but you can enjoy the gender that you're into, and still be respectful. It's like they've just gone 100%. Nope, it's all or nothing. And it feels very like Middle Eastern. It feels like something you would hear, coming out of the fucking Taliban or something, where it's just kind of like, no, don't show any ankles, or it's like, what's the matter with you people? Enjoy each other. This is Jean Grey. Jean Grey is not, in all of her incarnations, she is not going out of her way. She's not a fucking image Rob Liefeld character from the 90s. She's not a Playboy bunny, but she is an attractive woman. And pretty much everything we see here is a reflection of that. If you look at the Insomniac, I would say that is the most unappealing, unattractive version of Jean Grey I've ever seen. And even when Ghetto God says the Phoenix, meaning who she turns into, should show skin, Jean Grey was usually covered. I understand that. But look at her covered. Look at her curves. Look at her femininity. She's not, you can barely see any skin here, but she's gorgeous. She's a very beautiful woman here in this shot. Even the old 60s Marvel girl. I'm just saying something's rotten, man. And I don't like it. And it's not news to a lot of you guys. But I'm not one of these, I hate woke shit. I like woke shit. I think it's important. I like being woke. I like supporting woke. But there's a point where this is just stupid. Where they've gone round the bend and they're just fucked up. Being covered up, but Jean Grey was wearing a skin-tight suit. Right. I mean, it's not even close to the same, Stilton, is the concept art. Anyway. I expect it will be a long game, therefore Jean will most likely go, oh, come on. Yeah, maybe she will go through a metamorphosis at Atticus, but there's nothing in here that suggests that this is like, okay, when we first meet Jean Grey or Jean Park, ha ha ha,
Lord have mercy, I'm about to bust.
they're kind of a wallflower or whatever. And by the end, because of her relationship with Wolverine, she breaks out of her shell. And here's before and here's after. So I just, the femme fatale thing is the thing, and they want to act like sexy women can't also be powerful. Insomniac has me worried. I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I find it a real problem. And people are like, why are young people, especially in such high rates, looking at porn? Well, they got to get it somewhere. We used to be able to get it by watching some HBO late night shit, and you'd see some boobs for the first time. God forbid. I mean, Jesus. It really is like we're starting to live in the goddamn, it's like and it's funny, it's not even coming from the Christian nationalists that you would think would be coming from them. But I get it. Maybe we have to course correct. We have to overcorrect because it has been a pretty misogynist society and it remains so. So I get it. I don't know. I'm not conflicted by this though. This is bad. This is bad. I think it's terrible, Insomniac. And they still got a lot of time. So hopefully they'll fix this shit. If you're curious and you want to share your views about this story or any story, you can call me here, 619-786-3431. Or you can hit me up on the Discord, or you can send me a chat. Jonas says, I'm kind of amazed that you haven't noticed this trend. It's not that I haven't noticed the trend. It's not. It's that let's take where we've seen the trend, right? When it's something like The Last of Us, or even the new God of War, or Ghost of Tsushima, or even Alloy, or whatever she's called, the Horizon lady, their new IP or their IP that they've never been really about that much. So like Spider-Man, yeah. I get it. Here, I'll answer that in a second. It's a good point, Jonas. But let me get this call real quick, if I can fucking. Hey, it's Jaffe. What's up?
What's up, Jaffe? It's Pete Turtle.
Of course it is. How you doing, Pete Turtle?
Oh, I had to call in for this one, baby.
What do you think? Have you seen? Let me ask you. Have you seen the images on NeoGAF?
No. So wait, they're turning her into a black woman?
No, I didn't. No. They just said.
What, they just have her, she just looked ugly?
Okay. Now I shouldn't be eating. I thought you were going to talk longer. It's Pete Turtle. Listen. No, she is a very dumpy, plain Jane looking lady.
Like they're Mary Jane, huh? Plain Jane, Mary Jane.
But they were kicking around the idea of making her a person of color, which is, again, I'm not offended by that. I
am, but go ahead.
Well, I'm not. I don't. But I think it's not necessary given there's already a lot of diversity in the fucking X-Men. But so for me, like I was saying to the guy earlier, I forgot your name. I'm sorry, Jonas. I get the trend, but the trend makes sense when you're dealing with an IP that can conform to a less misogynistic way of presenting entertainment. Well, so Spider-Man, for example, even though, yes, there are people who do cheesecake pinups of Mary Jane and all that shit, it's never really been about that, right? But the X-Men is very different. I mean, you've got, the X-Men are adult characters. There's a famous X-Men cover from, I think, when famed misogynist Josh Whedon was writing it. It's X-Men cover.
I hate that guy. Go ahead.
Jean Grey and Wolverine, where they're like embracing this one. And this is not some fan fucking cover. This is the goddamn X-Men. Okay, so I'm sorry, but anybody who looks at this and says this is offensive or this is misogynistic, she's into it. She looks great. He's into it. He looks great. They're both consenting. They're having a good time, and they're attractive fucking people. Why can't So I guess for me, P Turtle, when it rolls into the X-Men, it starts to no longer feel like, all right, well, that's a creative choice. I mean, I'm not entirely sure I would have gone this far, but this doesn't feel like it's respectful of the brand. Would be my take.
Can you let me cook? I called in. Let me cook.
Can I let you cook? No, if you bore the audience, I'm cutting you off. I serve them. I serve them, not you. I serve the audience.
I get it. I'm just saying. I called in. I haven't been able to say a word.
But if you entertain us, go.
Listen, I called in 2 weeks ago, and I said, you know what?
Yeah.
You're already playing as Jean Grey in a Wolverine game.
Which is fine.
The agenda is real. And the reason why...
That's stupid. That's dumb.
Now you're getting a taste of what I'm coming from. The reason why a lot of guys that are bigots, that are called bigots like me, hate when they inject a black female in anything, a female in anything, because we know what it's coming with. You're not going to get a female you're going to play as. You're going to get Anita Sarkeesian. That's who you're going to get. We're going to play as Jean Sarkeesian. That's what they do. So when we see, guess what? You have a Wolverine game, and you're going to be playing as Jean Grey. My antennas go up because I say, okay, well, that's where the agenda will come from. Because they're not going to let a white alpha male character that sleeps with women and pretty much what gamers want to be, they're not going to let you play as that. So they're going to have to throw in, probably now, a biracial or an Indian or a black Jean Grey, and she's going to have no titties, she's going to have no fat booty, she's not going to have any of this, and she's going to be kicking Wolverine's ass, and I saw some of the clips. I watched most of the leaks anyway. She's going to be saving his ass everywhere, and it's all just like they did with Indiana Jones, Star Wars, and guess what? They're just giving us this Wolverine game because they really want to give us that Jean Grey game or that X-Men game.
All right.
So one that's going to have nothing but females and blacks and gays.
Again.
That's why we don't want these people in our game.
Okay, but you're going round the bend. There's in my opinion, there's a valid complaint about, and again, these are leaks, right? So they're not even supposed to be out there, but they're out there. So we're going to talk about them. But assuming that this is their thinking for these characters and the way they look, there is a valid complaint of like, now, at least for me, you guys are kind of, I'll still play. It'll be a great fucking game, a great fucking team. It's not like, I'm not going to fucking play that game. Of course I'm going to play that game. Looks awesome.
I'm not.
Well, I'm totally going to play. I'll be there day one. If they give me an early copy, I'll be there before day one. Well, again, there are lots of things in entertainment I don't like. I don't like 100% of Raiders of the Lost Ark, but it's still my favorite movie of all time. But that's a different issue. So I look at it though, and again, like you said, I don't have a problem playing Jean Grey and Wolverine. They are, as somebody in the chat said, they are linked. They are part of each other's deep fiction and lore. I mean, I don't think she was there back when he was Weapon X or anything, but whatever. And I think she's got cool powers that would complement a guy who's just running around with melee, and she can do range stuff and shit like that. I think that's cool. But I also think that if you're going to give me Jean Grey and you're going to give me Wolverine and you're going to make Jean Grey look like, and again, I'm an average at best looking guy. I'm not sitting here going, look shaming anybody. She's fine. But she's not an object of desire for Wolverine or for most of the audience. And I think, I don't know. I think that's weird, man, but I don't think it's, no, I do not though. No, I do not. I think though, you guys take it way too far where you start to really create these boogeymen. Like there's some kind of, council. There's some kind of council. there's some kind of council that sits up on high and says, we want to push this agenda. It's not happening. It's not happening.
Hold on, let me say this.
I'm not saying there aren't people that have certain ways that they want to see society twist and turn. Of course there are. But you know, it's not as insidious and not as
You're literally the guy that said ESG doesn't exist when it comes to gaming. Literally, at that same time, every publisher has an ESG page. They have to do this.
They do not have to do this. They do not have to do this. This is why
they do.
No, they don't. And this is why it's really hard to argue or discuss or come to terms with people who are in the far right. Because you take an inch and you take a mile, right? Or you give an inch and you take a mile. I can meet you halfway. I can say, you know what? Like I made that video and I said I was wrong about DEI. I didn't realize how tied in those recommendations are from places where a lot of these companies want to get loans from and money from. And once I realized that, I said, you know what? Guys on the far right, you guys are not wrong about that. I was wrong about that.
I know. And
but when you don't just take that and go, you know what? If Jaffe's willing, or the left people, some people on the left are willing to go, all right, let's open our minds a little bit. Maybe it's not as not bad as we thought. Well, it would be nice if somebody in your side from time to time said, okay, well, maybe they're not being forced, and maybe there's not an agenda on high from the entire world. And you know, Bob Iger, of all people, literally came out and said, hey man, we're probably pushing this stuff too much. And they're all about the money, man. They're not about an agenda.
And did you not see what they're going to be pushing? And they literally announced a Ray. Well, I don't even want to get into that.
A what?
Anyway, they're going to make a Ray movie. You know, everybody. You know, nobody wants to see Ray.
I liked Ray.
And then they're going to make oh my God! You know what? You're far gone, man.
You don't think Daisy Ridley? You don't think Daisy Ridley? You don't think Daisy Ridley is an attractive lady?
She looks like my foot. That is not an attractive lady. Not a traditionally attractive lady when you consider Hollywood actresses. No. Scarlett Johansson in her prime was a good-looking lady.
Oh,
Ray looks like some girl that I'd see down the street, and maybe if I was drunk, I might take her back home with me. Maybe.
You are so wishing you could be with someone who looked. Come on, how can you look at this gorgeous woman on the screen and act like, oh, she's not all that? What's the matter with you?
All that? Listen,
she's really.
For another reason anyway. Can I tell you the real reason why I called?
Oh, God forbid. Yeah, go.
If you don't want to have this convo, just hang up on me. But I wanted to talk about the Jews in the tunnels.
The Jews in the tunnels. What? They were just playing Minecraft. What's the problem?
Yeah, right.
The Jews are really big on Minecraft. I'm Jew adjacent. I know. I was raised Jewish.
Okay.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is you said like you're kind of consolidating the weird and the whatever that show's called with the morning show.
Yeah.
So is this topic appropriate? Is it weird enough? Because I've been telling people for years I've been hearing Yiddish coming from my walls. And people are always saying that I'm crazy, I'm a bigot, and sure enough, this story comes out, and sure enough, there are Jews in the walls.
There are not Jews in the walls, you moron.
They are building tunnels under us. I knew I was.
Yes, but the walls are not under you. The walls are on where you.
No, but it reverberates up, so it sounds like it's coming from the walls. So,
okay.
But anyway.
So what's your point?
Did you hear about everything?
I do not know. We've traced the Jews that are coming from inside your house. I mean, what are you talking about? Look, here's what I know. I heard about the story.
It's in Crown Heights, Brooklyn.
Yeah, I know. I heard about the story. I don't know why they were making tunnels. Did they ever come out? Well, that's what I'm asking. Did they ever come out and say this is why they were making tunnels under their synagogue?
The official story, that they're saying is that they were trying to build a tunnel directly to a woman's bathtub because there's something called like a mitzvah or something, a matzvah or something.
Okay, well, no. A mitzvah is like a good deed.
Oh well, it starts with an M, and
it starts with an M. Okay.
It's supposed to be like a holy bath.
Okay.
And that's why they're saying that they were digging the tunnel, but it can't be true. And then people were theorizing that, they were doing it so that they can commune during the pandemic and they can, practice their religious beliefs. But that's bullshit too, because they started building it about
okay, so what do you think the true story is?
Well, no, but the craziest thing is this: they were rushing in there while the cops were there, and they found a mattress with something that looked like a lot of blood on it.
No, it looked like shit. I saw that. It looked like poop, but whatever. But again,
so somebody wrote it there. It's called a mitzvah.
It's not a mitzvah. A mitzvah. He says your call. Oh, you're talking a mikvah. When I was raised Jewish and I would always skip out on classes because I hated all religions. And we would go exploring the temple. And there was a downstairs area where I assume it was like a baptismal for Christian people, where there was like a hot tub, but it wasn't a hot tub. And I guess it was for some religious ceremony. I don't fucking know what it was. But the point is, though, what do you think this was then? I mean, I haven't heard any theories. What do you think? What's the theory?
According to the rabbi, there was a power struggle over ownership of the synagogue. But that sounds like bullshit, too, because it's a civil war between a bunch of 30 and 20-year-olds and the old guard of that synagogue, supposedly.
Okay, but why build tunnels?
You said what?
Why? What do the tunnels have to do with anything?
I don't exactly know. I just gave you the reasons what they said. Personally, I'm telling you this. There is an Hasidic network of tunnels around New York City, and there was a Crown Heights blog a couple of months ago where somebody had written in the blog, because it kind of details things that go on in Crown Heights, Brooklyn. And in it, somebody said, they wrote down and they said, there is Jews in the tunnels. That is a fact. And everybody called that person anti-Semitic. You can check it right now. And turns out there were Jews in the tunnels, and everybody in New York is scared now because what's going on under it?
I thought you guys had alligators in the sewers, but this is a whole new thing, isn't it?
It absolutely is.
Look.
So
but what is it? Okay. Why any human, whether they're Jewish or not, is irrelevant to me. Why any human would want to build tunnels underneath anything, unless you're like, I don't know. I think it's weird. I think it's weird. Okay. Wait. I think it's weird. But what I don't understand though is, why do you have to be, anti-Semitic about it? It's a weird story. This particular synagogue may be filled with a bunch of horrible people who happen to be religious Jews. I don't know.
They're called Lubavitch Jewish people. I think they're from like Russia and stuff like that.
It doesn't matter. They're called. It's a group.
It's all important, goddammit.
If it's important, you need to learn what a thesis statement is, because you still haven't gotten to it, and we're deep into the goddamn essay.
Supposedly this sect has a high rate of molestation amongst young boys. There was something that came out, I think Vice covered this 10 years ago.
Okay, well, you know what I will say then? At least the Jews are smart enough to do it in tunnels. The goddamn Catholics do it right there in front of everybody. They don't seem to care.
Hey, I ain't Catholic, so you're not hurting me, man.
I'm not hurting anybody except the children are getting hurt. Trust me, all these religious institutions that have a history of abusing people in general, let alone children, need to be dealt with, as does Scientology.
Okay, so I'm going to go last thing. That's why I always say this to your chat. Christ is king. Through him, anything can happen. I'll talk to you later, Jaffe.
Yeah. Goodbye. Jews in the walls, folks. There you go. All right, but I saw the headlines. I don't know what that story's about. Darth Nugget, thank you for the super chat, buddy. He says, Tate, Mutant Mo fears P. Turtle. Trump, it's true. P. Turtle is extremely high. T. Kratos, debate him, boy. I have no idea what you've just spent $5 on. I appreciate it, and I read it, and I like you so much, sir, I'll read it again. It don't make any goddamn sense. Tate says Mutant Mo fears P. Turtle. Trump says it's true. P. Turtle is extremely high T. Kratos says debate him, boy. I understand now. It's not any better the second time, but the money still spins. Thank you, buddy. All right. Let us move forward, shall we? And look, let's just be clear. I'm sick of the anti-Semitic fucks out there too. I'm fucking tired of it. I'm sick of anti-Muslim people. It's like, you know what? All this religion shit is rotten. Okay? And just because you're Jewish doesn't mean you support Netanyahu. And just because you're Israeli doesn't mean you're a Zionist. Get your fucking facts straight and fucking learn something. People are people. They're trying to get by. If you're molesting kids in tunnels, it's got nothing to do with you being Jewish or Christian or Catholic. Even the Catholic Church that has a centuries-long record of hurting children, it's not because they're Christian humans. It's probably because there are certain mandates, or have been, for leadership in certain churches or religious institutions that would cause anybody to lose their fucking shit and do horrible things. And or that's a place where a lot of people who feel that way to begin with go in hopes of being able to escape their awful demons. I don't fucking know. But stop with all the fucking, the Jews do this and the Muslims, just shut up. Fucking morons. Fucking hateful morons. David says, I just joined the video and the first topic's about molestation and religion. Well, it's just because we have to discuss these things. I am all anti-religion, says, organized religion, says Savage. Seems like they are all child diddlers and hypocrites. Anybody in power, we're going to get to games, I promise. Anybody in power, politicians, religious leaders, it's all a goddamn, you can't give humans power. We can't handle it. That's the truth. Here we go, Darth Nugget. Here's your chat. Here we go. I hope.
Mutant MAO fears P Turtle.
It's true. P Turtle is extremely high T.
Debate him, boy.
That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Jaffe, it wasn't that. Darth Nugget, he says, explain the text speech so I don't waste money. It's not that. It's that I have it on pause when I'm in the middle of the conversation, but now it's back on. So if you pay, you will get your text to speech, of course. By the way, Mutant Mo just used the Illuminati eye. Stoner Joe, I don't know if you're watching. I got your super chat yesterday. I didn't get a chance to respond to it, but you asked for an Illuminati emoticon. There you go, buddy. That's there it is right there. All right. Again, and by the way, I just have to correct you guys, and we're going to move on because if you are looking at your screen and you don't look at this woman and say, oh my fucking God. I mean, again, everybody's taste is different. Somebody came at me the other day and was like, Jeffy, what do you mean you don't think Amarouth or Amaruth or whatever the fuck her name is hot? I'm like, I don't. I think she's a objectively attractive human in our society, but she's not my cup of tea. But if you want to know my cup of tea, certainly Daisy Ridley is much more my cup of tea. Jaffe, what do you think about the Wonder Woman and Suicide Squad kill the Justice League? She looks unattractive. I haven't seen her. I don't know. Let me look her up. Again, I'm not on the bandwagon that everybody who's a goddamn woman in media has to be sexy all the time or ever. But there are properties where that is called for. Men and women. And the X-Men is one of them, in my opinion. What are we going to look up? Wonder Woman? Suicide Squad game. Oh my God. No. That's not one. Come on. Oh, come on. Come on! Really? Yeah, that's horrible. Well, here she is. She looks good here. She looks good here. That's in her game from Monolith, right? This is her and suddenly I'm on the Suicide Squad team. Because they're right. This ain't Wonder Woman. God damn. Wonder Woman, fuck you people. Just fuck you fucking idiots. You fucking morons. And I'm not saying the right is correct, because the right does this shit too. But the people, your intentions are good, but it's like you've gotten a little bit of information and you've just gone so far around the fucking bend. She's Wonder Woman. She is an Amazon. She is built from the clay of Zeus. Well, the clay of the island, but by Zeus himself. She's not meant to be an average, relatable woman. She's meant to be the ideal, and that can change, but in every
Jaffe,
way, shape, and form.
Dog. What do you think about the Wonder Woman game?
Thank you, Captain Hook. I appreciate it, buddy. I'm telling you. No, it doesn't. You're saying she looks very Greek. No, I'm sorry. There are tons of beautiful Greek women. This would not be one of them. Maybe in her spirit, she's beautiful. Maybe in her action, she's beautiful. But I'm sorry. This is an average looking person playing one of the most aspirational mind, body, soul kit. Fuck this shit. Fuck this shit. Oh my God. How dumb can you be? How dumb can you fucking be? But the good news is, Captain Hook, thank you for your chat. They're saying, and I don't know if this is real or not. Don't say that. Don't. That's, Wayne B. Come on now. Okay, I'm down. The Wonder Woman open world games leak online right now. If this is true, I would say, okay, cool. I don't think she is out of her mind, like just a sex kitten, at all. But she's a very attractive woman, and that's, you don't look at, look, newsflash, Superman in the game ain't gonna look like me. He's not gonna look like Bukkake Drive-By, right? That's not Superman. That's why he's called Superman. Idiots. Yeah, Eddie T says it feels like Western devs want me to feel ashamed for being attracted to sexy women. I don't think it's that. I think that's where people end up, and I understand, but I don't think that is the intent. I think the intent, the heart is in the good place. I think the idea is we need to be less misogynistic. We need to be less, women should stop feeling, a lot of them have, thank God, but women are not there to entice men or lesbian women. They are there for themselves. They are their own people. All of that stuff is spot on and important and right, and it's more than about time that we address it as a society. But you don't throw the baby out with the bathwater, is all I'm saying. Jonas says it's trying to pander to people who feel bad about themselves for not looking like Gal Gadot. Nobody looks like Gal Gadot. Gal Gadot doesn't look like Gal Gadot. Gadot, whatever the fuck her name is. I think another big issue is the hero in a game looking like one of the devs. Let me tell you something. I always thought that Jason Rubin, who was there at the beginning of Uncharted, who ran Naughty Dog, looks like Nathan Drake. That's what I fucking thought. Okay, but see, this is the shit that I'm talking about. And this is why I am a progressive, though, because look at when we're talking about Wonder Woman, and Gal Gadot, we can't actually have a real conversation. The chat says, Johnny says, Gal Gadot is ugly. She's objectively not ugly, but whatever. RPG is not anymore. She's attractive. She's what, 38, old hag? Wayne B says Gadot needs to eat a sandwich. She's too skinny. This is why women are like, enough of this shit. I get it. Jesus Christ. I think men's relationship with women, for the most part, they're very disrespectful. They're terrified of women. They don't understand them. When I see stuff like that, trust me, people like me get pushed more to the left. Because what a terrible thing I have a daughter. What a terrible thing to know that a lot of men are going around and that's fucking all they think about, or that's how that's the first thing they think about. Come on, man. But yeah, I'm with you though. All that said though, what the fuck? This is not Wonder Woman. This, you know, in the movies, where they have a stand-in for the lighting and the camera and all that shit, and the stars are off getting their makeup or snorting the cocaine or whatever. That's almost like they made the game with the stand-in. It's not that females agree. No, Shadowgate, KDA, females do not agree. He says females agree cosplay. There is a huge difference between a woman on her own terms choosing, or a man, but a woman on her own terms choosing to say, I am putting my femininity and sexuality on display. I'm comfortable with it. I want to do it. I feel good about it. There's value in it for me. There's a big difference between that and men who just assume, because there are women who do that, that's all women are doing all the time, and that they have a responsibility to you to present as such. That's the problem. Atticus says the children of Zeus are supposed to be beautiful, except Kratos and Hercules. I can't speak to Hercules, but Kratos was part human. And I did intentionally make Kratos, I don't think he was ugly, but I said, let's break his nose. Let's make him older than, I didn't want him to look like a matinee idol. But that was different, though, that he was not meant to be a character like that. You know, he was meant to be a fucking monster. Matt DeMarco says, I'm pro-sex work, but anti-hot chicks in games. I'm pro-sex work, and I'm also, I'm not anti-hot chicks in games, but I think certain games don't warrant this kind of treatment. This is stupid. All right. Let's move forward, shall we? Because I'm not going to convince you, and you're not going to convince me. But look at this. Dragon's Dogma 2. You guys seen this? This was I'm not going to play the whole thing, but I'll play you about 3 minutes. I'm excited for this game. I did not play the first one, and I didn't know about this system. Let me turn the phone back on if you want to call. I did not know about the what do they call them? They don't call them avatars, but you can train the AI, and you can take AI on missions with you from other people based on how they played the game. It's really neat. I didn't know that's what this was. But anyway, so IGN Pawns, there you go. Thank you, Jonas. So IGN did this video about one of the classes, a trickster. And I don't know if I'm going to play this as my main character, because in some ways it feels like one of those things that when I was in games, we would do stuff that we knew would play well for marketing, but it wasn't necessarily very practical. A good example is like in Twisted Metal 2, you can plant bombs under a bridge. And if you blow up the bomb while an enemy's under the bridge, it's an instant death. And I just thought that was the coolest thing, but nobody ever did it in the context of gameplay. But you goddamn right, I showed that off all the goddamn time. But I don't know if this is going to be that or this is going to be a practical class to play. But this is pretty clever. This is fun. So this is the trickster. This is from Mitchell Saltzman over at IGN. Let me just jump ahead because I'm not going to show you the whole fucking thing. It's too long. But he's going into what makes the character unique to play. Would you mind if I played this for you for a moment? And then I'll turn the phones back on and we'll move on to another topic. But I really thought this was cool.
To start, the trickster is essentially a pacifist. Their chosen weapon, a ceremonial censer, does little to no damage when it's swung at an enemy. Instead, the purpose of attacking is to build up aggro and pull an enemy's attention towards you. To that end, you also have a special ability called Suffocating Shroud that sends out your smoke in a wide area and draws a large amount of enemy attention.
Kevin says, this game looks like Elden Ring. I don't think it's going to play like Elden Ring though, right? This is not this is a bit more accessible, isn't it? Correct? Let me know, at least the first one, but keep watching. This is, it gets cool in a second.
Towards you. So the question is, why would you want to get a whole group of enemies swarming on you if you can't actually damage them? See, that's where the word trickster comes into play. By using the trickster's unique skill, Effigial Incense, you create a simulacrum, or a clone for simplicity's sake. that enemies will perceive as the real you. This clone has its own health bar and will disappear if it's killed, but you can also teleport the clone to you while it's still alive with the press of a button. This way, you can basically kite enemies to wherever you want as long as you keep their aggro and keep your clone alive. So, you can maneuver a foe to get an environmental advantage, which is super important because the trickster shines the brightest when there are cliffs, uneven surfaces, or other elements of the environment that can be used to your advantage. The trickster has two abilities designed around creating surfaces that aren't really there, but appear real to enemies. The first, Tricky Terrorist, creates a cloud that can be placed off a ledge that the enemy will perceive as real solid ground. And the second, Elusive Divider, will create a wall of smoke that you can see through, but the enemy cannot. The final piece of this puzzle is the Visitant Aura, a technique that essentially allows you to make an astral projection that you can freely move around to scout the landscape for as long as your stamina will allow. You're super vulnerable while controlling the projection, so using Elusive Divider to give yourself some cover while using it in the heat of battle is a good idea. Crucially, you can float off ledges, ascend or descend at will, and even call your clone to wherever your projection currently is. I'm sure you can probably see why that might be useful. When you combine all of these tricks together, the real value of the trickster comes into view. Before getting into a combat encounter, you can create a clone with effigial incense, use Visitant Aura to scout out an area for enemies and look for any sort of environmental hazards, like a cliff for instance, recall your clone so that it hovers over said environmental hazard, place a false floor underneath it with Tricky Terrace, then lure enemies close to the clone and use Suffocating Shroud to send all their aggro towards the clone, and then watch with glee as enemies throw themselves off the ledge in effort to get at you.
So, I mean, it's one of those things that's like, that's a lot of fucking work just to get that payoff. But if they balance it, or there are places where it comes in handy, I think that's cool. I just wanted to share that because I'm excited for this game. Let me ask you this question about this, people who played the first one. So it is all single player. I know you can use other people's pawns that real people have made, but it's not like we could go adventuring together. That's my first question, correct? And the second question is, if I have like 3 pawns and the character I create, can I jump between them and play all of them whenever I want? Or am I locked to my guy? Or is it like Baldur's Gate where I can jump back and forth? Liz Lemon, what? It's single player only, says Henri. Okay, well, I appreciate that. All right, it's fine with me. I'm not looking for multiplayer. It just seemed like it might be. Yeah, Iron Meat is a great demo. I recommend it. You're locked to your guy. Okay, you can't. Okay, so it really is about these are your AI companions. Okay, no, I'm in. I'm excited for it. It looks pretty cool, and there's something about Capcom lately. They are just fucking on fire. They just seem to know what the gamers want, and with a couple missteps, or not many though. Them and Nintendo seem to be really fucking consistent, which I appreciate. I want to show you something real quick now. I want to talk game design. Okay, the phone, by the way, if you want to call in, is now turned on. I want to talk game design briefly, just because even though I don't really do it that much anymore, other than some consulting, I was never great at it. I was good at IP building, pacing, certain mechanic ideas, but I was not a great systems game designer, right? Hold that thought. I want to tell you what I'm going to talk about, but let's use calling. Hello, it is Jaffe.
Oh, hello, yes.
What's up?
Hi, David. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing good. So, yeah, that Dragon's Dogma gameplay looks very
good.
Unique, very interesting.
Yep, indeed.
Yeah, it would kind of makes want to go back to Wolverine for a second. Not for Jean Grey or anything like that, but more about the like in the leaks there was also something about the destructible environment thing, or kind of like destructible, and looking at it, it was kind of like here's a little wall that you can break down. It looks like some kind of something you'd see in a tutorial or Last of Us, like, oh yeah, you can use your knife to cut down the boards on this wall, or here's this other thing. I'm thinking, this seems very I feel like they could do a lot more with this kind. Wolverine has adamantium or whatever. He has these claws that are the hardest metal in the world. Like I feel like they could do a lot more. Not sure. It seems like not a lot of these game developers. They could use all these budgets and feel like they could do more with the gameplay, add some more physics. Like Wolverine could do something like. The old Metal Gear Rising. Do you remember the initial demo where they said, "Oh, you can cut through everything," and or even Star Wars: Force Unleashed, where they had these kind of where you cut and the cuts or the all these physics. I feel like that's something that's really missing, and that's kind of disappointing.
Well, okay, well let's be clear. Let's be clear. First off, the hardest metal in the world is Judas Priest, not adamantium. But that said, it's the second hardest metal in the world, and I appreciate that. The second thing, though, is the Jean Grey stuff, I don't have a problem kind of having an opinion on because, they were showing concept art and of course it's subject to change. It's very early, but it did seem like it was a pattern with the characters that is a reflection of a creative aesthetic direction they're going in. I think gameplay, you start judging that. I have faith in Brian, the director. I have faith in the studio. I'm not saying it's going to be the most innovative thing ever. But, when you're spending that kind of money, you're not, I don't know. Let's put it this way. I appreciate that Dragon's Dogma 2, for example, is trying some really cool, real interesting stuff. But I also appreciate that Wolverine is probably going to outsell the shit out of Dragon's Dogma 2 because most people, if they pick up a character like the Trickster, they're going to go, what the fuck is this? I don't know what the fuck, why do I want to be this guy, right? Most people who play games at this budget are not looking for anything other. We used to call them Joe Sixpack. They're not looking for the most part for anything really challenging. They're more like going to the movies to see a big blockbuster. So I understand why Wolverine, isn't going to take the big swings at design, but I don't think it's fair to judge that yet. There's a lot of things they could do, whether it's the physics you're talking about, whether it's missions based on the healing factor. There's a lot of things. We were talking about this yesterday on the show about Indiana Jones and the mechanics of Indy, that you could actually embed the character aspects that people love about him into the mechanics themselves, but it would still be a mainstream game. I'm not counting these guys out yet. I think they're great. I'm a big fan of them as a developer, creatively, as well as just their ability to produce great quality content. But here's what I'll give you though. If the game comes out and what you see then is what you're seeing now in the leaks, I would agree with you that it feels very rote to me. The one thing in the leaks, though, I got to say I appreciated, and I don't know if they're going to keep this, was they were talking in today's leaks about climbing walls, and they're much more subtle. You're not going to get these big yellow paint marks on them like in God of War or Uncharted. They're like, no, we're going to give you a little bit of a visual hint that that's something you can interact with, but we're not going to drive you nuts with it. So, but I don't know. We'll have to see. But I hear you. And what I'll say is, if you're right, if it turns out not much has changed since the leaks other than just production polish, then I will agree with you that the hardcore gamers are always the canary in the coal mine. And if they're starting to complain now about them being samey, then I will tell you we're about 4 to 5 years away from the mainstream catching up.
Well, yeah, I get it that things can change. It's just kind of looking at, not even the gameplay itself, but just looking at the design document. It seems like, here's it's not very, and things could change. Like I said, things could change.
Go ahead.
Could be more done with the, more creative. It doesn't have to be gameplay. It doesn't necessarily gameplay, but more like, here, some things in the background that enhance the actual gameplay, like you're actually the more slicing and dice, all these things that impact the environment. Chop up the environment.
Everything you add to the list is production time, and that's the other thing I'll tell you. One of the things about Insomniac is, out of all of the Sony studios, and frankly all of the Xbox studios, it seems they have found the way to put out great beloved product on the regular. And you can't say that about most studios, right? Part of how they do that is because they do, within reason, take chances and try new things, but I think they're also very disciplined about, look, we're going to ship this when we said we're going to ship it, and we're not going to spend, they're even the ones asking, can we not spend 300 million? Can we spend 100 million? We can still make pretty much the same game with just a little less production that most people won't notice, right? I think you can't have both. You either you got to applaud them for being consistent and high quality and good, dependable, fun games that sell great, but you can't also then hit them for being, where's all the innovation? When it's like, well, innovation is what takes a lot of time to figure out what's fun and what's not. And that'll drive you down a lot of dead ends. And if you want to ship on time and not, crunch your team, I think that's their plan, man. That's their policy.
All right. Well, I mean, I guess we'll see what happens with the Wolverine game. If
100%.
It doesn't change too much, then that's
if it
probably
doesn't
gonna bite them in the butt.
If it doesn't change too much, you please call back anytime anyway. But you call back and you say, "See, Jaffe, I was right," and I'll say, "Yep, 100%." Because I haven't watched all the leaks, like the videos. I don't want to spoil the game too much, but I've looked at the documents, and I'm with you on that. I would say if it doesn't change too much, I think it'll be fun. And I think it'll have some heart and stuff. And again, I'm a big fan of the director. I loved Miles Morales, but I'm with you. I think you'll have a really good point. All right, buddy. Thank you for the call. I appreciate it, man.
All right. Thank you.
Hang on. So what I was saying, I don't even know what I was saying. We're talking about the fucking, I don't fucking know, whatever. The Dragon's Dogma. The pawn system says beats, and Dogma is like a trading card system, but your trading cards can put a goblin and a full Nelson, and you call you over to get free hits in. Right. I love that. And I love that the first game let you share pawns with other people. But I like that this one's doing that for sure. I'm with you, Jizza. I don't care about the well-being of the developers either. We need crunch and great games. Right. And I don't mean that as a human. This is where people always get confused. Of course I care about them as humans, but end of the day though, my relationship with them is I am a customer that's giving them $70 of my money. And I want, because if my day was crunch, if my day was hard, if my life is a struggle, if I want to escape, I want the best that I'm paying for. And so, yeah, I mean, I don't worry about, any other industry when they create content. I'm not, or groceries, or it's like, I don't give a fuck. Make it good enough or I'll buy somebody else's shit. I mean, that's capitalism. Welcome to the fucking NFL, right? But I'm not saying they don't know that, but I'm saying that, yeah, I think in a lot of ways crunch is important. But at the same time, if I had to choose what Insomniac does right now, they're the only studio Sony's got that seems capable of putting shit out and being disciplined and good enough still nets them huge numbers of sales. So if I'm running Sony, I'd go, you know what? We need some studios that are willing and able to be out of their fucking minds creative on almost every decision, but let's not kill this golden goose is what I would say. Okay. I want to, game design. I just want to tell you about, I just love this. And I know that not everybody likes Marvel Snap. I'm not going to bug you about Marvel Snap. You either love it or you don't, whatever. But yesterday, Marvel Snap released their patch notes, like balance notes, right? And this is one of the coolest things is slight changes and slight reasons for the changes really make a fucking difference. And you see it when you focus test it or you get telemetry when the game is live and it's like, oh, that's really fucking cool. There's a card called Angel from the X-Men. And you put it in your deck. He's a low cost card. I'm not going to bore you with the gameplay. But this context matters. He's a 1 cost card, so you can play him right away. And if any of your cards are destroyed, he will fly out from your hand, and he will replace that card, right? Okay. So it used to be when one of your cards was destroyed, Angel flies out of your deck to replace it, okay? But now the change is when one of your cards is destroyed, this flies out of your hand or your deck to replace it. So if you've drawn it before this happens, it'll still come out of your hand, right? Or your deck, right? And this is the note. They said this change has been in the queue for a while, but we delayed it to ensure we could implement and test the effects. Angel is a card we give to players early, so we wanted to be sure we weren't breaking a charming piece of that new player experience. And just that, the fact that they said, we're going to delay this update because this is a card that people come into the game and right away they have access to it. And we don't want a gamer to come in and not basically be putting our best foot forward. So every card you get has to have the effects and has to have the sounds, and it has to be surprising and delighting the user if they haven't used it yet. And just that kind of thought is just so interesting to me, where they go, this is an early card. If you've been playing this game for 3 months, don't worry about it. We can ship that and we'll get the effects on the next time. But these cards really will affect people's first impressions. So let's make sure we do those right out of the gate, basically. I just think that's the coolest thing. Oh my God, you should unpause donations unless it becomes an issue. You can no one has sent one. No, I have to balance all this shit, man. I'm not going to become one of those streamers where every 5 seconds I'm in the middle of talking about something and someone, you need to go suck your own dick. I don't want to make that stream. But the queue is not paused. If anybody wants to buy one, it's rarely paused. You can get on in there and say your piece. Okay, Darth Nugget, fine. God, I'm sorry. I read it before I realized it was paused. Is that still bugging you? It was like an hour ago. It was an hour ago. Jesus. It's not that I don't want money, but I don't want money at the expense of a quality show. If we're having a good conversation about Dragon's Dogma, and then I have to totally put it on pause to talk about, some bullshit joke. Jaffe, say Xbox is number one. Sure, I want the ducats, but I want the ducats for making something that people like, not just the person who's contributing the money. So if that system doesn't work for you, that's okay. But I will get to all your super chats. Okay. So ruin the stream so you see you donated $5. The gods will not forgive you, says Jizza. Yeah. Have I talked about the Abby casting? Yeah, I talked about it yesterday. I think she's great. I've liked her in everything I've seen her in, from her goofy shit like Bookworm to serious stuff like that Netflix Unbelievable. She's awesome. So I'm quite excited for that. I'm very curious if they get her to buff up or if they don't, because she's not. She's not that physique at the moment. I'm sure she could be. Jaffe acts like my suggestion was coming for his family. I'm just responding with passion. I'm a passionate guy. I'm very protective of the show because I want people to enjoy it, man. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about something we can all agree with. Maybe not. Maybe not. Maybe I'm just in a shit mood today, but I don't think so. Listen. I just can't anymore with these award shows. I'm so sorry, you guys, because I know a lot of you guys are just big fans of games, and it must not be fun when I take a shit all over aspects of the industry, but I'm just, maybe because I've been behind the scenes for a long time, I can't anymore. Today the DICE Award nominees came out, and it's just, I don't know. It's just so, nothing against DICE. I was a member of DICE. I've been on the nominating committee and all that. It just, nothing feels genuine. It's like there's so many, maybe what it is because I've gotten to play so many games since I stopped working in games, that it's almost fathomable how so many of these games are just ignored in light of the same fucking thing every single fucking time. It seems weird to me. I'm not saying these are a bad list. They're fine. They're exactly what you would expect. But it just seems odd to me. And it doesn't seem, I don't know, you guys know me, I have a real problem. I have a real problem with lack of genuineness. And some of this stuff I just don't believe. I don't believe. And let me be clear. I'll play it. I think Annapurna is a great fucking publisher. But out of all the characters, the outstanding achievement in character this year that were created, Thirsty Suitors? Really? Spider-Man 2? I love Miles Morales. He's already been in the game, though. Is this for the acting? I don't know what it's for. No, because they have writing, lead writer, the direct. I don't fucking know. I think this makes sense. I think she was Carlatch from Baldur's 3 was a great, beloved character right out the gate. I think same thing with Asterion. Saga Anderson, really? Okay. I mean, fine. I liked her. She was great. But I mean, I think about other characters. I think of, what defines outstanding achievement in character, right? What is it? But I think about, like, I forget his name, but the sushi chef in Dave the Diver, I thought was a great character. Really well done, really memorable. I'm not entirely sure I understand where a lot of this stuff comes from. And so it bothers me, I suppose. Bothers me a little bit. It's nice to see outstanding achievement in story for Dave the Diver. I should play Thirsty Suitors, though. People say it's good. No, JW says, I like Saga, but there wasn't much going on there character performance-wise. Yeah, I like her, too. She's a cool character. But, you know.
Did you watch the Michigan game? Bama lost. Then we ran over the Huskies. Sad it will be questioned to sign stealing and recruiting allegations.
Well, I did not watch it because once Auburn's out, I usually lose interest, although I am very much looking forward to college football coming back to video games with EA's college football. I'm glad Bama lost. I like it when Alabama loses, even though I'm from Alabama. So go Michigan, whatever they're called. I'm not entirely sure about the controversy over the final play you're talking about that allowed you to beat the Huskies, but all the recruiting stuff is a nightmare. I mean, what's even the point at this point? You know, if you want to play a football game, great. I can't speak. If you want to go and win, you go to the college that has the best teams you can get into. Nick Saban, whatever, coach of Alabama, retired. I did not know that, but why would he not? And how much more can you do if you're him? The guy's, I don't know if he won more championships than Bear Bryant, but he, fucking is close. He's rich as you can be. What else you got to move on. Got to have new goals, new mountains to climb. Outstanding tech achievement. That's cool. I don't know. I just, there's so much cool shit to play, man. And it's just all the same shit. It just doesn't feel real to me. It doesn't feel like it's an authentic look at the industry at large. Best game of the year. Come on. I mean, Baldur's makes sense. Cyberpunk well, that's not game of the year, but let's go to game of the year. So the game of the year noms. Alan Wake 2. Okay. I mean, that's fair. Most people really seem to have their minds blown with this game. I like it. I haven't finished it. It's just a little slow for my ADD brain, but I like it and I get it. Baldur's Gate 3, I get. Legend of Zelda, absolutely. I mean, that's, I don't love the 3D Zelda games, but you cannot deny the design and sense of freedom in living in that world that those systems give you. But Cocoon, game of the year. Spider-Man 2, game of the year. Come on. What are you talking about? I mean, again, I enjoyed Spider-Man 2. And I thought Cocoon, for what it was, and I didn't play it that long, was fine. But the best game of the year? Dice Awards, did Dice Awards even have Armored Core? I want to say they did. There was an awards, maybe it was the New York Game Awards that had Armored Core. Spider-Man 2 is a wild ride, says Toxmod. Yeah, it was great. Nothing about it I hate. I really enjoyed the shit out of it. But Game of the Year? Let's look up, what did you say, Armored Core? Where's my, over here. What would I put there? Well, I would put, for me, I mean, I'm going to do my own list because people have asked me and I would be curious about it. But I would put Sea of Stars in there at the moment. Haven't finished it. I would put Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom in there. Absolutely. I'd probably put Baldur's Gate in there. Even though I would put it in there, even though for me, it's not my favorite game of the year. But I certainly get why it's a force to be reckoned with, and it's great. But then I would look at like some of the other ones, like Cocoon, Spider-Man, maybe Alan Wake, and I would go to, I would go to look at stuff. I mean, I don't know if Pizza Tower should be Game of the Year or Spectre Bowl, but I agree it should be on the list. Starfield, I would not give Game of the Year, but I would definitely give Narrative of the Year too. Absolutely. I would have to go back and look. It wouldn't take me very long, but I would have to look at my Steam list, which is what I'm going to do when I make my list, and then you'll see what I think is Game of the Year. Resident Evil 4 Remake was fucking astounding. I don't see that anywhere. Yeah, the red phone is on. I did see Dead Space on here for something. But I'm not entirely sure. I don't remember what Dead Space got. So anyway, I don't know. It feels weird. Hola, it is Jaffe. I am here to talk to you.
Hey.
Got to turn down your volume, sir.
Oh, I know. You answered it quicker than normal.
Ha ha! Zing. Who's calling?
Larry. I am Ravnos.
Your name is Larry?
Yeah, don't go there.
What was that about?
Believe me, don't go there. What is what about?
Larry. Like, how did that come about?
I don't know.
Like, was that your dad's name?
Yeah, that was his name.
Oh, okay. Okay, well,
not.
if you're named after your dad, that's different. I get it. Okay.
Yeah, but it sucks because it's so weird because look at everything. Whenever they use that name in games or in songs or in shows, it's like kind of like, weird stuff.
Oh, yeah. So what's up? What's up, Larry?
Yeah. Well, you just seem bummed that, they picked the big industry AAA stuff, and
that's not, well, no, Cocoon is not a big triple industry. That seems like a token thing. But if you get, I mean, and even this, like El Paso Elsewhere, I played this game for about 4 hours. It's cool, but outstanding. Dredge makes sense. Where the fuck is Dave the Diver on this fucking list? This game, Terra Nil, is not a mobile game. It is on mobile, but it's also on Steam. It's excellent.
Dave the Diver's not on the list because it's an internal 10-cent development team. So that's when you're a multi-billion-dollar company, you're not very independent. That's why. I think they figured that out after the mistakes of the other award shows where it was always like, Dave the Diver, best indie game, and it's like, do your research. But
okay, but wait,
it was up for that for game design, which I believe that Dave the Diver totally deserves to be there for game design.
Yeah, no, I agree. I'm looking at this list and going, okay, well, wait a minute. I mean, so I guess if you're going to take the 10-cent thing into account, I guess you're suggesting that there is a ceiling of whoever owns the company, because I mean, if Annapurna acquired Geometric, or this came out of Annapurna's internal studio, would it no longer?
No.
And again, it's stupid anyway. Why the fuck do you have I mean, that's how dumb this is. Why the fuck do you even have an award for best independent game? It's a game. Dredge should be able to go toe-to-toe with Spider-Man. Dave the Diver is a better Game of the Year contender than Spider-Man, as is Dredge. And I love Spider-Man. But come on.
Well, the reason they used to do it was because when they first started doing the awards, like if you go back to like the early DICE awards.
I was there at the first one.
Yeah, and it was there were a lot of small independent game developers that they were self-funded, they made their game, and then they would go and shop their game to a publisher going, hey, do you want to publish this?
Mm-hmm.
Because we're an indie studio, we don't know how to publish a game.
Right.
Whereas nowadays, almost everything is not really indie. I mean, don't get me wrong, there are indie games, It's just they don't get the spotlight.
But what does that even mean? That's so stupid. Like if you look at the movies that are going to be nominated for Oscars, they're not going to be based on budgets. The albums that are nominated for Album of the Year in the Grammys are not based on how much they cost to produce. This is the only industry I can think of that does this, and it's just dumb.
Yeah. I mean, but what would they put, like, best AA game?
No, don't. Why would you separate them? They're games.
Well, because look at the game of the year list, because you're going to end up with 99% giant.
Okay, but that's you making concessions for what the big actual problem is. The problem is not let's fix it because we know we nominate only the wrong things. The problem is stop nominating only the big games because that's all you fucking play. If you can't be bothered to play a lot of games during the year, and I get it, you're working, you're making the games, then shut up. Maybe you're not the best person to put a stamp on something called Game of the Year. I literally, look, when I was working in the industry, there was I don't know if it lasted very long, but the first meeting we had was over at Naughty Dog, and I only went because they were doing God of War. And it was a bunch of executives that are kind of like, we don't have time to play games, so what we'd like to do is have a meeting every couple of weeks, and we'll order in dinner, and we'll have members of the team there, and then we'll have like an intern or something play through the game so we can, this is before Let's Plays, watch the game so we can at least know what it is. That's how little most of them played games. And I'm sorry, it's just a ridiculous concept. I mean, they have a right to.
Get that. Why would you be in the game?
Well, you don't have the same kind of.
Play games?
Well, it's not that. It's not that the executives don't, a lot of them. But it's not that, like, when I was on God of War, it's not like I didn't go home and play video games. But you only have so much time, and when you're working constantly, and then you go home and you want to be with your family or you want to watch a movie, you're still playing games. But you're not, it can't be, it's just, you don't have the time. And I respect that. I get it. But
yeah, I just lucked out, I guess, with my career path in the industry because I worked at Blizzard, and literally everybody at Blizzard was a gamer, from the president of the company to Mikey Morheim and. But when
did they? Yeah, but you guys crunched. When did you have time to fucking go play your games? Not the Blizzard games, but the games you were playing.
The crunch was always at the end, and it was pretty much when it was like we got to go gold, we got to go gold.
Yeah.
To be honest, the crunch at Blizzard wasn't so bad. At Interplay, it was pretty bad, but at Interplay, that was because I was in QA and we had a massive QA department. So when a game was getting ready to go gold, the whole department would pitch in.
Yeah.
And so it was almost like a never-ending cycle.
Gotcha. Okay.
But even then, like going back to Brian Fargo, gamer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, no, I know. Absolutely.
So it's like when I hear of like these suits going like, "Ooh, well, tell us what the kids are playing these days." It's like, who are these people and why are they in the industry?
Yeah,
just
well,
weird.
They kind of got settled in, I suppose. You can't hear the person on the phone. They're muffled. All right, well, it's Larry. So, Larry, I'll talk to you later, buddy. I'm going to move on. Thanks, bud.
Bye,
Larry. Yeah, baby, we got him. Scary Larry says, Elks rides the ferry. Is he married with a cherry? I don't know. Why is Larry so hairy, says Stephen Hawkins. Asking about the Cosby Suite. Yeah. I don't think if you're named Larry, you don't get invited to the Cosby Suite. Listen to me now. Hakami, thank you, buddy. Hakami has joined the Diet Soda Soldiers. I'll get to the phone call in a second, but we gotta give props. This goes out to you, good sir, Hakami. That's not what a cat penis looks like. You goddamn right. That's wisdom from Jaffe to you, buddy. Thank you for your support. Everybody give Hakami an emote of your choice and a pickle tickle. I would appreciate it. Thanks, fellas. Hola, tis Jaffe. Who is this?
I did not notice someone was joining in like this. I'll leave.
What do you mean? You called? What did you fall down and trip and you dialed the number? No, Hakami, I'm talking to somebody in the chat, but I'm saying hello to you on the phone.
Oh, sorry. Okay. All right. Sorry. That confused me for a second. All right.
This is Psycho?
Let's see.
Or Boogster?
Yeah.
Psycho.
it's Psycho.
You guys kind of sound alike is why. Okay.
I,
Okay, the phone calls are low. Let me turn up the audio. Hang on. Sorry, fellas. All right, tell me if that's any better. All right, Psycho, what's going on?
Oh yeah, it's about the Lethal Company game. I'm sorry I wasn't able to join. I didn't know you were gonna do the stream that early because of the Gabbing Games morning show. What was it called again?
I don't know. Gabbing and Gamers or Good Morning Gamer. I don't fucking know. It doesn't matter. It is what it is. Have you played it? Do you like it?
Oh yes, and I did do a recording, and still waiting for it to play you, but obviously I saw that you already streamed it, and you don't plan on playing it again right now.
Maybe we'll play it. We'll play it on the Discord sometime in the next week. I'll see what I can do if I have the time. Because I think it was.
Okay, how about we bring up? Okay, can we bring up a topic we can talk about, like the Wormer new Twisted Metal game?
Sure. What do you want to talk about?
Yeah. I wonder how they're going to, do that Twisted Metal game. Because if you watch Tactical Bacon Productions, he has a lot of wish lists. Like, remember the new Mortal Kombat games where they have a story mode, but they also have an arcade mode where you can get character-specific endings.
Mm-hmm.
I hope they do something like that with the story, where you switch, from playing as a different driver in each segment of the story, which would be pretty cool. I mean, I know in this game you're supposed to be fighting to the death, and when your vehicle blows off, obviously you're gonna die. And I don't know how they're gonna, do the thing with the do that kind of. I don't know how they're gonna adapt that kind of way with the story.
Right.
But I'm hoping they get a lot.
But you just so I'm clear, you're talking about the show, not the rumored game. You're talking about season 2 of the TV show.
No, I'm talking about the game.
I don't know if there is a game anymore.
Well, apparently there's Fire Sprite Studios. And off topic, I agree. While the ornament on the Christmas card that with the Fire Sprite logo looks cool, it just doesn't do well.
Listen to me. I want to ask you a question.
Okay.
You're referring now to a video from Christmas, correct?
Yeah, sorry.
No, not sorry. This is I find you fascinating because I'm looking at the chat and it actually bothers me a little bit because you have a very unique brain. I don't know if you are, autistic or I don't know what it is.
Oh, I'm on the spectrum, yeah.
Yeah. And I think I hate it when I see people kind of, mock that. I'm like, man, it's like, it reminds me of Psycho. It's when people mock people who have accents. And I'm always like, dude, they probably know, we know they know at least 2 languages. They probably know more. You probably don't know any, it's just people don't know. It just bothers me. Does it bother you when people don't get it?
Hi, Jaffe. Long time
yeah,
no see.
But I really did wish I didn't have autism just to make my life easier. But
I know, but I mean, it's like
what you're born with.
Yeah, everybody's got a bag of hammers, and I appreciate you calling in. And I'm sorry sometimes the chat is so not great. Not all of them, of course. There's a lot of nice people in there, but some of them just we gotta get better about that. Autistic people and neurodiverse people. A lot of the best art and the best creativity and the best science comes from people that think different. And I, for one, appreciate you, buddy. I appreciate it, Psycho. Thank you for calling, man.
Okay. Oh, we're done talking?
We are done. I got to run. Thank you, bud.
Oh, okay.
All right, man.
Sure.
Call back later. There he goes, end of the night. Brett Williams says, I'm neuro-spicy and hate being treated as other. Okay. Okay. All right. I love when Jaffe gets real like this. Big ups. Just like, yeah, of course. He's great. He's great. He's a good dude. Okay. Boogeyman says, Jaffe, you filthy animal. First time catching you live. Love your show. Listening from Malaysia. Excellent. Peace, cocksucker. Back to you, you prick. I fucking hate you. I wish you would die. Anyway. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, buddy. Let me get this super chat from Chris. Thank you, buddy. He's been a member for 18 months. He says, Jaffe, long time no see. Indeed. I'm glad you're back, buddy. It's good to see you. It's good to have you here, man. Ocean Spray with Dakota Johnson. Everybody's like ready to tear into this fucking movie. They hated the trailer. I don't know, Chris Durstepinian. I don't know if you have seen the trailer, but a lot of people are shitting on it. I think it looks cool. I think it's fine. You know, and she's beautiful. She's a beautiful woman. She's wearing a skin-tight, sexy costume. It's the Spider-Man universe. What's the problem? She's hawking ocean spray. Makes me think nasty things. Ocean spray movie, no. Okay, let's see who's calling. Hang on. I'm excited for it. That's all I'll say. It probably will bomb, probably. She was in Suspiria. Her? Interesting. Hey, it's Jaffe. What's up?
Hey, it's Stevie H, Steve Hawkins.
Oh,
yeah,
hey, man.
that guy.
I know.
Yeah, no,
What's going on?
I wanted to call about because you were talking about autism.
Yes.
And I wanted to say, yeah, I'm on the spectrum too. Didn't know it until a couple of years ago. My mom and dad hid it from me. They hid it from me for years because they were worried it was going to ruin my fucking life. Because, you know, back in like the 90s.
Oh, yeah. I mean, people are still terrible about
Yeah.
it.
You know, they put us on the short bus and they throw you in the corner. And, you know, my parents were so scared. They're scared to death that, you know, we don't want him being treated differently. And, you know, a lot of people are like today, like, oh, that's fucking horrible. Your parents did. I'm like, you got to understand. Back in 1990 when I was 5, it was very different.
Yeah.
I'm like, they do such an amazing job now with autistic children and stuff. And honestly, I'm glad they held it from me because it would have probably fucked my entire chances of getting into the Army. You know, I told you I was a cook and,
right.
You know, it didn't go the way I wanted it to. I'm 100% disabled veteran. I'm medically retired. I'll never work again, but you know, I'm very
But you
blessed
could be
because I was
you
able-
could be a surgeon though, because autistic people, like on The Good Doctor, can be surgeons, correct?
I mean, hey, you can be whatever you want. I know a lot of.
I love that show. People make fun of it, but I love that show.
Yeah, I mean, I love. Well, no, I mean, I love the fact that so much art and so many amazing things are created by people. You know, with me, I have like ADHD, like you.
Me
I'm
too.
on fucking Ritalin. They're VA's sending me 5 milligrams because I have fucking heart palpitations on 20 or whatever. But it does help.
Yeah, totally
you know,
helps.
I have ADHD. I have autism. I have PTSD a little bit from the Army. Luckily, it's not as bad as it used to be. I'm not wanting to kill a motherfucker with a knife or nothing. Anything crazy like I used to.
Well,
It's
we're
a
all
little bit
we're all
nuts
slowing
back in
down,
the
sir.
day. Well, you know, I was a little woohoo back then. You know, being a cook in the Army. Well, you said your dad was.
My dad was a cook, yeah.
It was probably different then. I don't know, but it was very stressful. We never got days off, never got weekends off. You know, we were in there all the time. And then my best friend, she took her life. Unfortunately, one best friend since 6th grade took her life. And
was she in the Army?
She was no, she was in the Navy, and we were best friends since like middle school. We both grew up in Michigan, in Detroit area. My cousin was best friends forever with this girl. That's how we met.
Right.
And she went to the Navy before I joined the Army, and she was trying to get me to join the Navy.
Why did
they
she
weren't
kill
gonna take
herself?
me. She took her life because she got raped by a commander.
Oh.
He raped her, and they, you know how it is. That sexual assault stuff in the military is a very, very dirty, dark part of it, you know. And she took her life, and they wouldn't let me go home to say goodbye because I had very toxic leadership.
Yeah. Okay.
I was,
look,
during the.
No. I'm bored. I'm bored now. But I have ADD
Okay.
and you do too, so you know that's not an insult. I'm just bored of talking about.
No,
that.
I know.
But
No,
that said though, I'm sorry for your loss. Absolutely, that sounds horrible, and I'm glad you're doing better. Of course.
Oh yeah, I am.
But what I will say though about the way you were raised and stuff is, and this is one of the things that when I do push back on a lot of these people who are opposed to diversity and all that, you know, that is why we need that stuff. And yes, sometimes people go way too fucking far. But the fact that we not everybody, there's still some assholes out there, of course, but the fact that we can look to people now who are neurodivergent and go, yeah, so fucking what? They're not worse or better. They have certain skills that I'll give you an example. Like, I mean, my daughter in math in school was just absolutely terrible, and she felt awful. And I said, well, don't worry about it, because when she got tested, they said, yeah, your math is like shit. But she was above every single one of her peers in the region when it came to like articulation, language, English, communication. It's like everybody's got their shit. And I'm so tired of everybody being trying to push into this cookie cutter mold of this is what you need to be. So I'm glad you came out of it in a relatively healthy way. You sound like you said, you got your shit together a lot more. You're not trying to kill people with a knife. Let me tell you how brave.
Nothing nuts.
Let me tell you how brave I am, though. I just told a guy on the phone, meaning you, who offered up the information that there was a time when he would have killed people with a knife, and I just said I was bored of talking about what you were talking about. Think about how brave I am, sir.
No, I get it. And,
I mean, you could take me to the army, and they would be like,
no.
Jesus Christ, give this guy a platoon because he's so brave. Do you think?
No, I mean, the thing is, though, actually, I was thinking about what you were saying about your daughter. It's kind of funny because a couple of years ago when I finally got a test, I had to go through an adult expert, and it's a little different with that because they have to go through your whole background. But when they tested me, because it was 4 hours of testing, it was really grueling, it was the same thing. My math is complete crap, but all of my other stuff, my comprehension, reading, analytical skills, through the freaking roof.
Right.
And just to say, we're not all stupid or whatever. Like, I actually hold a degree in
Not only are a lot of autistic people not stupid, but they're fucking brilliant. They're just myopic about certain things, their special interests.
Yeah.
But so what? The world doesn't revolve around average normal people. It's the people who are unique that create shit and do stuff interesting out of the box. So
yeah, we get we like a lot of us autistic people, we have passions, and we get very passionate. Like, I have passions in games. And I'm also passionate about, I went into sociology, but it was weird, interdisciplinary studies, but track in sociology. And I have a degree from Georgia Southern University for bachelor's of arts. And, I'm very passionate about, social problems and stuff.
Yeah.
And things like that. Like, why do we not take enough time to take care of people like our veterans, for example? I'm very passionate about that. I've helped about half a dozen or more of my friends get 100% on the VA because maybe it's because I'm autistic. I'm really good at navigating that kind of shit, like Obamacare and all that shit.
You did it again. You did it again.
What?
I'm so bored.
I'm sorry, bro.
No, don't apologize. But does that happen to you with your ADD? Where people are talking and you're like...
No, it happens. I think it happens to everybody with it.
I think it happens to everybody, but we just say something because I'm hearing you and I'm like, okay, I got the point. I got the point 5 minutes ago, right?
Yeah, it's probably because of the way my brain works.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yeah, my brain works
Zeke says I'm looking for a knife fight. No, I'm just saying I got to be honest with people.
But I also wanted to just say to everybody, like all the assholes out there,
fuck
that are going on about, fuck them. And also, we need to be kinder to people because you never know what someone's going through. If you're, if there was a time when I wanted to take my own life, and luckily I'm still here through all the, I got, call it God or Buddha or what, I don't fucking know. I identify as a Christian, but I don't get into it like super deep. I was just raised that way, so I have some little bit of spirituality, but I don't sit there and Bible thump people, and who knows what the hell is right in the Bible or wrong. No one was there when but I just feel like we have to be kind to each other.
Finally found a schedule to watch the streams again with my new job. Felt incomplete without my daily dose of Jaffe _ come one.
I'm definitely got a warped sense of humor. I think that comes with being an army cook because it was like we were all like that, just it's a coping mechanism, people. But I'm just trying to say you need to be kind about it.
Right. So, like I said, when I tell you I'm bored, I'm not being a dick. I'm going, you know what? This motherfucker can take it. And we're just shooting the shit. People tell me they're bored of me talking. Shut up, Jaffe. Fine. I'd rather have the honesty.
Yeah, I see it all.
And
don't talk about God of War.
Right.
Don't talk about Kratos.
You know, I'd
totally
rather have the honesty, and I love it when you call, and I love your stories, and you know, I'm glad you called to defend that stuff because it makes me mad too. All right, buddy, call back anytime. Be well, be safe out there, and
you too.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye, bud. There goes Stephen Hawking, the scientist. Okay, listen. Oh, Andy Pie, shut up, you fucking idiot. You don't even understand. He says, Jaffe, stop sucking Neil Cuckman's dick. All I was saying, you twat rambler. I don't know what that is. All I was saying is that the guy has done a lot of great shit, and he's at a goddamn award ceremony for a fucking video game show that the world seems to love. And not only that, it wasn't even what people thought, like, oh, no one's paying attention to him. No, that was not what was happening at all. And that's all I was saying. And I got no issues with Neil Druckmann. I'm sorry. I don't. I don't like all of his games. I think sometimes he seems like the kind of guy that if I knew him, might smell his own farts and go, good God, what a good bouquet. I don't know why he's Stewie from Family Guy, but fuck you. But, you know, he seems like a decent human being. What do I care? You know. Connor Steinbeck. Thank you, buddy. I'll read both these super chats coming up in a second. Connor says, finally found a schedule to watch the stream again with my new job. Felt incomplete without my daily dose of Jaffe. It's good you're here, buddy. Thank you very, very much for being a member for all that time, and thank you for being a member of the Cult Calypso. Let me tell you something, Connor. This show actually is supposed to be in the morning. It's supposed to be a morning show that starts about 10:30, but the last few days I've had shit going on in the mornings. But the Cabin and Games, we've been doing pretty good the last few weeks, being at 5 o'clock Tuesdays and Thursdays. So, and by the way, if you're off this weekend or Friday at 5 o'clock, we're going to be watching, we're doing Pot and Popcorn with members. So if there's a movie you want to see, let me know on DM, and we'll put it into the vote if you're Cult Calypso or higher. I want to tell you about this game real quick. People say, Jaffe, what games are you excited about? I'm excited about Indiana Jones. I don't know what the game is yet, but I'm excited because I love Indy. And I'm also excited for this game coming up. And I know it's crazy because I saw all of these Mud Runner games, and I was just like, what is that? That's stupid. I knew they were selling like hotcakes and shit.
Do super chats talk now?
Yes.
Poop. Racism. Let's go, Brandon.
Yes, they do talk. Thank you, buddy. Thank you, JW Conglomerate, for the super chat. They do talk if you buy them to talk. They don't have to talk, but I appreciate that. I don't understand the Let's Go Brandon thing. I really don't. I don't understand why they just don't go say fuck off Biden. It's like, aren't these supposed to be the badasses that are going to take on the government when all the shit goes down, and they're not even letting themselves say fuck you, Joe Biden? But anyway, what about Sun and Bone? I know about it, Morgan, but I hadn't watched the trailer. I heard it was really terrible. At least that developer apparently is kind of a shady developer, is what I was getting on the internet. So listen. Yeah, Darth Nugget says if you start the super chat and you say Trump or Kratos or Obama or whatever, it'll read it in that voice. I'll look at it in a little bit, Morgan. I'm curious about it. Expeditions, a Mud Runner game. I'm excited for this game, fellas. These games are really, really fucking fun. But this one is less about transporting cargo and it's about exploring. And it's so up my alley. It's like being a kid with Tonka toys. You've got a drone that you can fly around. You've got a lot more navigation gear, but you're always in your vehicle. I'm super down. I cannot wait for this. I know it's coming out this year. I don't know when it's coming out, but apparently PC Gamer has gotten their hands on it for a preview, and they're saying it's pretty fucking good. Easy pass, fucking pass away. I don't mean that, but these are, they're just so addictive and so fun, and it's so weird. And this is what I was saying earlier about, I was good at certain parts of game design, but the systems I wasn't. I would never in my wildest dreams, if somebody pitched me this game, I would be like, I don't know. But when you play it, oh my God, it's cool. It's fucking cool. K-Nub says, Jaffe, did you get dirty, muddy, and fun as Alabama youth? Oh yeah, we used to love that shit, man. I'm interested, Morgan, in Pacific Drive as well. That looks great. Gravedigger has 300 hours in Snow Runner and 100 in Mud Runner. Right. The time just fucking flies by. And those are really fun fucking games. So anyway, I wanted to show you that. That's coming out in March, I guess, according to somebody in the chat. Logan the Lurker let me know that. All right, cool. All right, hang on. I definitely want to do this. I want to let you know because it's important, fellas. Boop, 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 boop. Cha, the gods of war. This show is made in part, possible in part by these incredibly generous folks who have been supporting the show for so long and at such a high level. I got to call them out and say thank you. If you are a God of War member and you are watching, as a reminder, and I'll get the names in a second, but all those ads and stuff you see here, Three Daddy Podcast from our friend Mavizzle, very fun podcast. Alex Plox does a lot of our music. I got to ask him if he can write a theme song for the morning show. Day One Patch Kids, of course. Where did it go? Great t-shirts, Garbage Pail Kids meets Cabbage Patch Kids. If you are a God of War member and you want anything, I won't talk forever about it, but if you want me to put an ad up or you want me to, post a picture or just talk about something, just hit me up on the Discord and I will definitely make it happen for you because I sure do appreciate it, and that's part of the service. Where did it go, though? Where's the gods? Here we go. Heavenly Skull, our newest one. He said something the other day. He says, Jaffe, I want to talk to you about something, but I hadn't heard from him. So if you want to hit me up, if you're watching, man, hit me up on the Discord or the Twitter. Heavenly Skull, Big Bad Cody Thompson, Trick Shots Lee Perez, Rotten Tanuki of the Day One Patch Kids, Zach Procrastinates, who I thought Zach Procrastinates
What happened with Wolverine now? It can't be worse than what they did with Spider-Man's side quest, right?
I'll get to that in a second. I thought Zach Procrastinates died in some kind of horrible accident 4 years ago because I never hear from the guy. And I'm like, maybe it's just like on auto pay. And right when I said that yesterday, he's like, no, I'm here. He's just like, and I love it. It was good to see you, Zach. Alex Plox, of course. Great musician. I don't know if he's still doing his band or his own stuff. I got to get back to him, see what he's up to. And of course, Big Bad Eddie Torres, the biggest, baddest collector of video game memorabilia and games in the biz. Thank you guys very, very much. Rambling. What happened with Wolverine? I mean, we talked about it early in the show. Here's what I'll tell you. If you go to NeoGAF and look up the latest leaks, concept art leaks, they're just surprise. Even a fucking liberal progressive like me, I think they've gone too far. So if you're curious, check that shit out. All right, fellas. Well, that's the show. I will be back tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So 24 hours. It's not going to be that long. You have to wait with Papa Jaffe. 24 hours. I'll be back at 5 o'clock for Gabbin' and Games. And then we're back Friday with the morning show. I don't think anything crazy is happening Friday. So I should be able to be here at 10:30. And then don't forget, if you go to our Discord, there is Death Sauce says, where in the Discord do I suggest show ideas? You can do that. There's a folder called Ways to Improve the Show. And I appreciate that. I'm very much eager to hear what you guys want me to do to make the show better and more entertaining for you. Stoner Joe, I don't know if you were here earlier. I got your super chat yesterday, and as proof, there you go, baby. Stoner Joe wanted this. Your wish is my pleasure to... I don't know anything. Stoner Joe, thank you for the super chat. He says, how's the weed been treating you? Talking to God again? The second time I smoked a huge amount of weed, I did talk to God. Well, I don't know if I believe in God, but I looked up at the sky and I said, why are you hiding from us? And the voice that came back said, it's not me that's hiding, it's you guys are hiding from me. And poof, it was crazy. But I'm still agnostic through and through. It's probably just a voice in my head, or maybe not. But it's good stuff, Stoner Joe. And hey, don't forget, Heavenly Skull, a shout out. You goddamn right. I did get your, I think I responded to you, didn't I, on the Discord? I'll check right after the stream. All right. Fellas, Filettis, thank you for the support, the time. Members, thank you. New members, thank you. Super chats, thank you. Lurkers, thank you. And just the whole hee-haw gang. I appreciate you being here, spending some time with me, talking about video games and crazy shit. I am very much looking forward to talking to you again tomorrow about all the things that are just pure video games. In the meantime, though, this is our good friend, Alex Plox. Let's see what he's got to say. Oh, no, this one's not Alex Plox. Sorry, we'll bring Alex back tomorrow. Here we go. Goodbye.